In this video, we will explore the options available for both targeted and untargeted data analysis with MSInside. By clicking on the home icon, a pop-up will appear on the left side. If you close the pop-up, you can reopen it by clicking the home icon again. To start a new analysis, click on New Project. A workflow manager will then appear, showing the available options, which can be combined based on your analysis needs. The first option allows us to add a target list of compounds to the analysis simply by entering the name, formula, and selecting the type of adduct. The exact mass is automatically calculated from the provided information. We can export the newly created target list for use in future analyses. Target lists are exported in Excel format. To import a target list, simply click on Import and select the Excel file containing the list. The table will then be automatically filled with the compounds of interest. We can now move to untargeted identification. When this option is selected, 3 different modalities are available named Full Scan DDA and Pure DDA. The Full Scan option automatically detects MZ values in the mass spectrometry experiment and generates extracted ion maps for all detected values. The Full Scan with DDA mode can be used for MSI experiments that also include MS2 spectra. In this case, after detecting the available MZ values, MSInside searches for MS2 spectra matching the identified masses and annotates the compounds using the selected library, which we will choose later in this workflow. The last mode, called Pure DDA, is also used for MSI experiments that contain DDA analysis. In this case, the analysis begins with MS2 fragmentation spectra, which are evaluated for quality, annotated against the selected library, and then used to generate the extracted ion maps. We can now select the files to include in the annotation. Files may be stored in different folders and do not need to be moved in order to process them together. The selected files will be used for both annotation and quantification of the extracted ion maps, unless the option to select a different quantification dataset is activated. Another available option is to use the identifications performed in a previous analysis. This is particularly useful when we want to expand the number of samples without changing the list of compounds. It can also be combined with a reference table and untargeted analysis to further increase the number of identified masses or to improve the quality of annotation for compounds already found. The last option is the selection of the quantification dataset. Here, we can choose the files in which the extracted ion maps will be generated. This is a mandatory step when no files are selected in the untargeted workflow, or when the files used for identification and quantification are not the same. We can now validate the workflow and choose the final options. After clicking Validate, the workflow manager will expand, allowing us to set the ppm tolerance for the analysis. This value is applied to both MZ range selection and annotation. A second option is dataset normalization. We can choose to normalize against the total ion current or keep the original signal intensity. Lastly, if an untargeted method with DDA is selected, a table will appear where we can add the spectral library intended for this analysis. Multiple libraries can be selected and incorporated into the workflow. By clicking Save and Run, we can save the newly created workflow and start the analysis. We recommend creating a dedicated folder for Store the Analysis. The final option in the workflow manager appears only if the analysis was interrupted, for example, after a computer shut down during processing. In this case, when reopening the workflow, a Continue button will be available, and clicking it will restart the analysis from where it stopped.